sensitive? Why everybody so sensitive? Does anybody even give? We feeling babies up with medicine. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, sipping on juice, sitting in the coupe, thinking about school, thinking about you. Come through, sniffing on blue, sniffing on.
What's up, everybody? My name is Chris Mohead, aka Rob Savage, aka Robbie Sunflower, and we're here again with another episode of 600 Seconds with HYLO Art. Y'all clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. And before we get started, I just want to say make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, because today we got two very special guests in the building. They go by the name of...
I'm Shawn 7, aka G the Lion.
And Queen Kimmie with the I-E.
Y'all give it up for Shawn 7 and Queen Kimmie. Thank y'all for coming out tonight. We appreciate y'all. How y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good?
Feeling good.
Amazing.
Okay, so what I need y'all to do is, before we even get started, is look into that camera and let the people know what it is that you do.
Like I said, I'm Shawn 7, aka G the Lion. It's my wife, Queen Kimmie, and together we have a company called Scatterbrain Kingdom. And within that company, we have what we call Boss Effect Podcast that we drop every Tuesday. So make sure y'all tune in every Tuesday for new episodes on the Boss Effect Podcast. And that's on all streaming platforms.
All right, word. Okay, so the first question is kind of a double question because Shawn 7, I want to know, how did you get started rapping? And Queen Kimmie, I'd like to know how you get started with the podcast business. So.
Funny story. I try to make it quick. How I got started rapping was one day I was watching MTV, Yo MTV Raps, and they did a little freestyle to MC Light's song "Got a Roughneck," and it was like I got a roughneck. I got a girl that's good, God forsaken, that can't cook some bacon and give me the loving that I need. And so I went to school and I was telling all my friends about it, and then I just sat there and just started writing, and I took that verse and I wrote a whole rap to it. My teacher thought I was passing it around class as a love letter, so she came and she tried to get it from me. We ended up tearing it in half. She taped it back together, took it to the counselor. The counselor called my grandmother. It had a whole bunch of curse words in there.
Oh, man.
So my grandmother seen it. She got on me, and my career as a rapper in middle school ended and beginning and ended that day. But yeah, that's how I started rapping though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mind you, tell them you was the altar boy at church too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dang. Got messed all that up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I had to sit down for about a week. So I couldn't pass the bread and water out for about a week, so you know.
It's rough. And Queen Kimmie?
So I am Queen Kimmie with an I-E, and I am the co-host of the Boss Effect Podcast, which stands for Bold, Outspoken,
Soulful Storytellers.
Yes.
Right.
And we share stories of triumph and overcoming. We got to that point because when I retired from the military, the first thing I wanted to do was go back to school to learn marketing so I could help my husband with his music career.
That's lovely. That's amazing. Yeah, I like that.
Well, ask her how that worked out.
How'd it work out?
So when I started school, the teacher said, the first thing she said to me was, we're going to create a fictitious business to learn marketing, and you're going to have to post on social media. You're going to have to create a business plan. You're going to have to meet people. And I had just retired from the military, and I was kind of lonely, you know, and meeting people and networking. It became fun. So in creating my fictitious business, Queen Kimmie 101 Coaching and Courses, I kind of forgot about my husband's music career and why I had went to school, you know. I still love you and everything, but what happened is I fell in love with it. And from me posting on social media that I was starting a coaching company, I actually had a lot of my military buddies who actually reached out to me for coaching. And so I literally started doing a coaching business, and we started online business. And from there, with my husband still doing music, I just started doing motivational speaking and online marketing, because with being retired military, one of the things that I was dealing with was anxiety and PTSD and being in crowds. So it was easy for me to start a business at home online behind my computer. So if somebody said something or did something I didn't like, I could just cut the computer off, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Or just block them.
Or just block them, right? Exactly. So it made sense. And lo and behold, I started to get the big head, you know, I started getting a big following. I was like, hey, I'm Queen Kimmie, y'all, look at me, hey. And then my husband was like, baby, you went to school to help me with my music. I'm like, man, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And then he was like, babe. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. And
Oh, that's right.
and so from that moment, I was like, okay, wait a minute. We are multi-talented. We're multifaceted with our love for service, our love for helping people, our love for just assisting people with what they have going on. And we wanted to figure out a way to bridge the gap with what my husband does with music and what I do as a motivational speaker. And that literally comes down to service. And the Boss Effect podcast was the way for us to incorporate that, because at the end of the day, it's all storytelling.
True indeed.
These are both great stories. I mean, and first of all, I just want to thank y'all too for even having me on. I was a guest on the Boss Effect podcast, and we had a ball. Me and my dad were, and yeah, I just want to thank y'all for that officially.
Hey, before you, matter of fact, your episode, we had got a new fan off of your episode. It was one of my wife's friends' husband actually listened to y'all episode and fell in love with our podcast based off y'all episode.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, y'all clap it up for that. That's awesome. Hey, we happy with any fans we can get over here. So.
Listen, and also your podcast, even though it came out later than our original podcast, your podcast ranked higher and had more downloads than any of our other podcasts.
Wow. See, I was unaware of this. This is great news. That's awesome. Yeah. See what happens when you collab and synergize. So also thank you for your service. I appreciate your service.
Appreciate it.
For your support.
So what is Jewel Drops with Queen Kimmie?
Jewel Drops with Queen Kimmie is my television show that airs on my network called Legrity Media. It's a streaming over-the-top TV network. We can be found on Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, any TV that has a smart TV that you can download the app, okay?
Right.
And Jewel Drops is a spinoff of the Boss Effect podcast. And in Jewel Drops, what I do is I take the best of our podcast guests, which you are one, and we take their interview and we repurpose it into dropping jewels and nuggets that are shared on that podcast. And we just put it into a television show. So I play like I'm going to work, and then I'm at work, and then it's like, oh, and guess who stopped by the Boss Effect podcast? And then we highlight those guests that have come by the podcast. So it's another way for us to help spotlight our guests from our podcast.
Yeah, okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Shawn 7, fellow rapper.
Yes.
Tell us about the Essence Project. I listened to the project too, and I like it. I do
appreciate that, man. The Essence Project is basically, man, it's just about transformation. It's about how I went from, putting out what I call, man, a bunch of like negative energy with my music. And I just took the time to sit with myself, man, and just was like, you know what? I want to make an album that my kids can play around they friends and they friends' family and stuff, and won't have to worry about, hey, your dad is doing this, your dad doing that. Because trust me, I get the looks, from my old music from those parents. But now when they go back and they listen to this latest project, they like, man, that's you? Yeah, that's me. But I also went back to my first name that I ever came up with in the music business, which was Shawn 7. All my old music goes by G the Lion. That's all the old projects that I put out, which is a lot of projects. And this project here is the first project that I put out with Shawn underneath the name Shawn 7. Okay,
and that was your first stage name.
That was my first stage name, but I never put any music out underneath that stage name.
What made you want to go with that?
Because that was, like I said, I went back to the essence. So I wanted to go back to when I was in that hip hop mode, storytelling, and just more about uplifting and talking positive, thinking and mindset. Right. So that's what that is about.
Okay, yeah. Shawn 7 is I'm assuming that's your real name. Well, Shawn
is my middle name.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what? I'm sorry, you had.
Oh, I was just going to say, 7 stands for completion. It stands for God in the cipher when you're building, so he's leaving that out.
Clap it up for that. That's fine, yeah. So what current or future projects do you guys have in the works?
Well, we got a lot of things that we in works with, man. Like right now, man, I'm in digital cinematography school, which I'll be graduating the end of this year. And right now I'm building up my resume like Queen Kimmie Jewel Drop. I actually shot all that. I did that myself, by myself, no crew, no nothing. I've actually did a couple short films for school. So it's like, I'm getting my foot into the movie scene, man, into the video scene. So that's something that I'm crossing over to. And then with me and my wife, like I said, we got the Boss Effect podcast, which we're going to be doing a lot of events underneath that name. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Like I said, we got a lot of things in the work, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to stay busy. You know, I definitely got to get with you on some filming stuff too. Like, yeah. A little bit off of business right now. What you guys listening to? Like, what's in your playlist?
Well, what's in my playlist is Shawn 7, a.k.a. G the Lion, the Essence
right.
album. My husband. Because
Absolutely.
believe it or not, I don't even listen to rap music. I listen to music that actually has, it has to have a purpose, it has to make sense, and it has to be something that can enhance a current mood that I'm already in.
Yeah.
So in my playlist, I have my husband, I have, India Irie, I got that neo soul thing going. That's me.
Absolutely.
And in my playlist, myself, of course, Rob Savage. You know what I'm saying? I got to get a little some of that Rob Savage in there too.
Stop. You don't gotta say that just because I'm sitting here.
Nah. I told you I like that one song, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir, man. But also, man, I listen to a lot of old school hip hop. You know what I'm saying? A lot of old school hip hop. I do like the new stuff that's out, but to motivate myself, I listen to a lot of old school hip hop. And believe it or not, I don't even listen to a lot of hip hop, period, really. I listen to more like R&B, more like soulful music when I'm by myself. And what else do I listen to, man? Believe it or not, I don't even want to tell on myself. I don't even think my wife know. But I listen to a lot of the old like 80s pop music too, man.
80s pop music?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Believe it or not, I wrote half my very first album that I ever did with my German producer that we put out in 2012 to Sade. Listening to Sade, I was listening to her live album she was doing, man, and I was sitting in my partner's apartment in Germany, and he was watching it, and I was just hearing all that live instrumentation, man, and I caught a vibe, and wrote a whole album to listening to her perform on stage.
That's crazy. Yeah. Nah, that's dope. That's real inspiration. So what's your guys' favorite movie? What y'all watch?
Together or just our favorite movie?
Either way.
My favorite movie, man, is The Goonies. I don't know, y'all might be too young for The Goonies.
Classic. I know about The Goonies.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like the 80s.
Yeah. So I love that. That's one of my favorite movies. I got a lot of favorite movies, man, but that's one of my go-to movies right there.
It's a classic. Yeah.
I have two favorite movies, and I'm going to say them with pride with my chest stuck out, okay? Because my husband pick at me because I like The Sound of Music and of Green Gables. I be up in there like, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Yeah. Nah, my wife loves musicals, so she done seen that 100 times. So yeah, she know about that. I know about that too. If you could work with, and this is, I want two separate answers. If you could work with any creative, dead or alive, who would it be? Any creative.
I can go first on this one. For me right now, it will be that lady named Ciroc that has the song called Forever. I'm a star without the fast flame of Fenty. Like, I just love everything she stands for, and she be like, they say I'm a god and I'm narcissistic, but that's just the facts of it. Like, literally, Forever by Ciroc. I love everything she stands for. And she's an older hip-hop artist. She's a female hip-hop artist. She's telling stories that we can relate to, and she's more in a spiritual world. I love everything she stands for.
I have to check her out. Ciroc? Yeah, I definitely have to check her out.
Thank you, somebody.
For me, I would have to say, man, definitely Jay-Z, man.
Okay.
Because he's a fellow Brooklyn cat. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and I've always loved Jay-Z. Like, before Jay-Z was like really, really big, I was one of the first people like in my neighborhood that was really bumping Jay-Z, and can honestly say that I'm a real Jay-Z fan. So yeah, I would love to work with Jay.
That's because you from Brooklyn.
Hey, you damn right.
Either had to say Biggie or Jay-Z, so one or the other. But that's gonna be a crazy collaboration when that happens. What do you feel like would be your big I made it moment if you haven't already had it?
I believe I already had it, man. A few of them. One of them I would say was when I bought out the Comedy House and did a show here. We bought the Comedy House out and we did our album. We did an album release party in 2015. And my wife I always told my wife I was going to take her on the red carpet. So instead of being like in the major world, I brought the red carpet here to Columbia, South Carolina, so my wife could walk on the red carpet.
Yeah, y'all can clap it up for that. Yeah.
He did that. He did that. He did it.
I made a moment.
My I made it moment was when I turned 40 years old, and I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm retiring from the military, and I get to do whatever the hell I want to do from this point on. I made it.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, thank you for your service. Do you have any advice? Either of you have any advice for anybody out there watching that maybe wants to be in a similar position to where you are?
I'll go first. Yeah, definitely, man. Be true to yourself. Definitely be authentic. When you're authentic, man, it comes across, and people can really tell if you're really being who you really say you are. Because if you're out here being fake, and then people are able to pick that up and tell, you're gonna lose people. You're gonna lose fans, and you're gonna, people not gonna want to work with you. But when you become authentic and true to who you are, people gonna always rock with you. They'll never stray from you because they're gonna be like, that person right there is always 100, and that's me. I'm always 100. What you see right now on this stage is what you're gonna see when I'm at home with my kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can respect it.
Exactly. And if I had to give any advice, I would say the advice that I would give is show up and show the hell out. You know, it's okay to be seen, it's okay to be heard. In the past, it may have not been okay, but now in this day and age, it is okay, because what it is that you're working with, somebody else needs to hear it. It's not for you. So show up and show the hell out.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. I appreciate both of y'all's advice. Before we get out of here, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you guys would like to speak on?
No, I think we pretty much covered a lot of stuff, especially the fact that my wife know I listen to the 80s pop music.
Yeah. You done revealed a whole new side of yourself now. You got any final shout-outs?
I would like to say that the Boss Effect podcast that we do together, you know, as an entrepreneur couple in business, I would like to say that it takes dedication and commitment to do anything that you're going to do. And if you're in a relationship with someone and you're working with a partner, whether you have a relationship or just a business partner, whatever it is, effective communication is always the key to anything that you're doing. And as a motivational speaker and as a coach, this is a shameless plug that Queen Kimmie and SHAWN 7 are your one-stop shop for digital online success. Okay?
Hey, I love it. That's what's up. I got one final question, but this one is for SHAWN 7. Will you bless the stage tonight with a performance?
Oh, most definitely, man. I'm gonna give y'all 3 tracks off the Essence album.
Awesome, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all give it up for SHAWN 7 and Queen Kimmie.
Let's go. We fix no motion. I stay open. We flow and we flow and we coasting. We fix no motion. I stay open. We flow and we flow and we coasting. We fix no motion. I stay open. We flow and we flow and we coasting. We fix no motion. I stay open. We flow and we coasting. We flow and we flow. We flow and we flow and we flow. We flow and we flow and we flow. We flow and we flow. Through the highs and lows and the bumpy roads, so I got one yes, I heard 1,000 no's. Only strong survived in a week of foes. Just took the toll, let my mind go. Take no point like Rondo. Get a long way from the hustlers in the street corner. No windows. Couldn't end up but John though. But the universe had a name. Got my foot from the motherland. Fought for racing, just confident and proud to be exactly who I am. All the mindset, they hate to hear us talking progress, but when you're chosen and you know you're blessed, just keep trusting the process. Jay-Z said it best, you gotta learn how to live with regrets. Only thing certain is life and death. Yo, we coasting, moving in slow motion. I stay open. How high we flow and we coasting, moving in slow motion. I stay open. How life we flow and we coasting, moving in slow motion. I stay open. How life we flow and we coasting, moving in slow motion. Girl, I stay open. How life we flow and we coasting. We flow and we flow and we flow. We flow and we flow and we flow. We flow and we flow and we flow. Feel the energy
since the hate seem to be the topic of conversation. It's just me on my imagination. I'm out here, dream chasing. Tired of waiting, working like Jamaican. I love a chick who love the game and know how to play it. Raised in the slums when you barely make it. So I earn respect, I did you take you. I build an empire, can build a nation. I had a constellation, blowing moon rock, have been medicated. Had incarcerated, living life to me, wearing card naked. Put your glass of highs, my inaugurations. Success, yeah, I can finally taste it like, yeah. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Gotta thank the universe for another year. Mind and the vision so clear. I say yeah, hey, we coasting. Moving in slow motion, I stay open. How life we floating. We coasting, moving in slow motion, I stay open. How life we float and we coasting. Moving in slow motion, I stay open. How life we float and we coasting. Moving in slow motion, I stay open. How life we float and we coasting. We float and we float and we float. 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 Hey.
Yeah, you couldn't wait for me. I couldn't get it together. Try to get my together. You couldn't wait for me. I couldn't get it together. Go find you one better. A serious